Hey everyone, hope you're having an amazing day. It's Code Karen. Welcome to r/Am I the A-hole, where we have 3 incredible stories. If you're new to this channel, a sub would be great. Let's jump to the stories. Our first story is, Am I the A-hole? To save my sister, I lied about having a college fund for my stepsister. I am 32 and female. I grew up with a narcissistic mom. I never met my dad. The first hug I ever received in my life was at 10 years old, when Dan, my mom's boyfriend, hugged me when I thanked him for a gift. My mom had my sister a year later. My sister was the perfect baby sister anyone could ask for. Mom and Dan split, and at first, Mom had major custody of my sister. Mom did the same thing to my sister she did to me. She doesn't even acknowledge us in the room if she was not in the mood, not feeding us dinner. If we made a mistake, she made everything our fault. When Dan found out, he applied for full custody for my sister, but my mother fought and somehow wrangled 50% of custody. Things got real bad for me, and the only silver lining was my sister. Despite being only 4 years old, she would sneak in snacks from her dad for me to eat. Anything Dan bought for her, he also bought me. He wasn't wealthy by any means, but it was the small things. And anytime he dropped off my sister, he will take his time to talk to me. He was the only father I have ever known. Dan died of cancer when I was 16 and my sister 5. He lived only 3 months from the diagnosis, but settled everything financially as best as he could for my sister. He split his assets 75% for my sister and 25% for me to be given to me when I reached 18. Knowing my mom very well, he made me the executor of my sister's trust fund too. To say my mom was furious was an understatement. She literally made the next 2 years of my life, and my sister's, a living hell. When my mom started dating Brad, he already had a daughter 3 years younger than my sister. My mom made it absolutely clear that my sister will be allowed to go to college only if she shares her trust fund with our stepsister. Brad is a piece of work, and me and my sister never really bonded with our stepsister. Mom refused to sign anything related to my sister's education, unless I gave her my word that I will give my stepsister equal half of the trust fund. This is where I think I was the a-hole. I held the trust fund above my mom's head so my sister would be treated fairly. I repeatedly told them I will give my stepsister half the fund, until the day my sister turned 18 and moved to college. Once she moved out, we both cut any contact we had with our mom and blocked her. I made my sister give her the wrong college info so our mom wouldn't contact her. I found out through a few friends of my mom's that my stepsister couldn't get into any college because she didn't want to apply for any loans, and she is very depressed. I know I misled them, but I honestly wanted my sister to be safe. Am I the a-hole for causing my stepsister's depression and robbing her of college? Our second story is, Am I the a-hole for telling my wife's friend she is too old and ugly after she repeatedly asked my 19-year-old son to take off his shirt and made him uncomfortable? My family had a small get-together at my house. One of my wife's friends was over. She is unmarried. I think she is 45 to 47. We aren't too close to her since she lives pretty far away. She was over our house and she started complimenting my son. My son is 19. It starts off innocent, but as time goes on, it gets more and more crossing the line. When we were out on my deck, she starts telling my son to take his shirt off. What's the point of going to the gym if no one will see it? My son is visibly uncomfortable and tries to shut her down. She repeatedly is asking and getting more aggressive with it. I interject, and I'm like, "Hey Kathy, I think you're a bit too cold and ugly for my son." This got her upset really quickly, and she excuses herself to the bathroom and starts crying. My wife goes to comfort her, and then later she leaves. At the end of it, my wife is super angry with me for saying that I should have said, "Hey Kathy, looks like you had too much to drink," or something else. I told my wife that Kathy, by the way, this is not her real name, works a corporate job. She had training on this and that she knows better. And our son was uncomfortable. He is 18 plus, but he doesn't know how to deal with an adult, let alone someone saying that in our house. I told my wife flat out that if I was to invite a guy friend and he was to ask to see our daughter in a bikini, my wife would have called the police. She says it's different. I tell her that I was way kinder to Kathy than I would have been had a guy said something like that to our daughter. and I told my wife that Kathy needs to apologize to my son before she can ever come into our house again. Overall, I think I was fair. If Kathy just said it once and I said that, I think I would be the a-hole. But the fact she kept repeating it, that's why I said it. And I wanted her to get the message that yes, I am upset. That's why I included the ugly part. Am I the a-hole in this situation? Our last story is, am I the a-hole for telling my stepdaughter to stop using period products in the bathroom she shares with my teenage sons? I have been living with my new wife and stepdaughter for about 6 months now. She's 19, almost 20, and I have 3 sons aged 18, 16, and 15. She's a really good kid, and she's a good influence on my sons. I really enjoy having her around. My wife and her daughter moved into my house and sold theirs. My stepdaughter's father isn't present in her life, nor is my son's mother. All 4 children share a bathroom. My sons have never lived for a long period of time with a woman, nor have any of them had long-term girlfriends. They had short visitation periods when they were younger, but never longer than an hour, so living with 2 women has been unusual for them. My eldest son, 18, came to me last week and told me that his stepsister disposes of her used sanitary products in the trash can they share, but doesn't use toilet roll or sandwich bags to disguise what they are, and it makes him uncomfortable, which I think is reasonable. My sons are teenage boys and don't want to see their stepsister's period products on full display. A few nights ago, I went into the kitchen to grab a snack, and she was there doing some work for the university. My wife had mentioned that she knew she was on her period, so I took it as an opportunity to have a word with her. I told her my sons were uncomfortable, and asked her if she'd mind putting her used products in diaper bags or flushing them down the toilet. She laughs and told me it was rich coming from a man who shed like a gorilla and had produced 3 skid-marking sons, which I thought was just an unnecessary attack. I've been nothing but nice to the girl, and it's hardly a comparison. My sons shouldn't be subjected to her unhygienic products if it makes them uncomfortable. She went on to lecture me about how tampons can't be flushed, and that it's bad for the environment if she uses diaper bags for only one, which I think is just an excuse. I called her a scruff, and told her that this was my house and that what I say goes. I later asked my wife if she could have a word with her, and she told me I was being ridiculous, and that her daughter has had her period for 10 years and knows what she's doing. When I told her it was making my sons uncomfortable, she said my sons needed to get a grip and turned over and went to sleep. This is a genuine issue to me, and she didn't care enough to have a discussion about it. I asked my stepdaughter again in the morning, and she did the same as her mother, completely dismissed it. Both of them have told me to stop being so silly, but I don't see how I'm being unreasonable when it makes my sons uncomfortable. Am I the a-hole? Interesting dilemma. What do you think? Comment below.